pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Hey, man.
Back in our regular seat.
Yeah?
All right.
You gonna make comments?
You know you will. Meeting will please come to order. We do have proof of posting in accordance with Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code of Dominion known as the Texas Open Meetings Act. Any members of the public who wish to speak? There are no members of the public present. We will go to item number 1, which is budget transfers and amendments.
I make a motion to approve the budget transfers and amendments.
Second.
All in favor, aye. Any opposed? None. Motion carried. Item number 2 is to replace the roof on the district attorney's office building. It currently has a flat roof, and I think that was put on in sections maybe. But I want us to discuss whether we want to continue having a flat roof or we want to spend a little bit more money and put on a roof that slopes so that we will hopefully resolve issues in the future. Flat roof to me is just not the best solution, long-term solution.
Never ending.
Never ending. There's always a hole or a flare or something. So, we do need to work on it. We could spend some money trying to do some repairs, but we talked years ago about we needed to replace the roof, and I think it's time.
We got the money?
We did.
Place your roof.
What we do, go out for bids and find somebody to replace this.
It's gonna come up on top of the roof.
Yeah, one of the things that's gonna make it cost a little more, the air conditioner units that are up there are gonna have to be moved down, so you don't have a little AC work involved.
Really have on ground anyway, so.
Yeah.
Yes.
Air conditioner on top of it.
And that
Like
would be
up here.
included in there.
We got one working and the old ones that they took out of service up here.
They still sitting up there.
So,
Have to get
Right, said that.
something to take them down, you know.
yeah.
And that, those air conditioner on the roofs, they gotta have a crane most time to get there.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, like, the guy does it working, that does build all those things, they have, it's like helicopters. But I mean, that wouldn't, you wouldn't have to have it here.
Yeah.
But you have to get it on the premises and for the courthouse, not run over your sprinkler lines and wreck the concrete that's out there. It's just always, if you have to work on it, it's always more of an
Has
issue.
anybody looked at that, or we just been talking about this?
Yes, we did have someone that just looked at it and recommended
Give
it.
us an idea of what to do.
You know, we had, I don't know if it was, if we had the original roof people. I think they put it on in 2 different sections though, and that was an issue.
Who did that?
Parsons.
Parsons, they did, now I remember they came and gave us a new price, said it hadn't had a new roof.
But that wasn't coming up.
No,
So,
no. That was just if we did a flat roof.
Because somebody knows what they're doing, but I guess they do, you know, just try to see what would be the best. They have a couple of professional people, I mean, roofers come look at it and see what's best. I know they're remodeling several downtown that work, those roofs up there, they're doing some stuff up there, to a lot of those buildings.
If we go out for bids, they'll tell us what they can do and how much it would cost. If we want to change something, we could go out.
see what the
and-
difference is on, that's something we could, see what, if we repair the flat roof, see what that costs, and see what it does, kind of fix it.
Make a motion to go out for bids for both, fixing it both
I
ways.
get both ways, that way you know, that way we know what we're, the difference is. Might be wasting somebody's time.
Be good if they put on there how many years
Yeah, like a
that
warranty.
fix would be versus, I mean, you can pretty much figure 30 to 40 years on a slow metal roof.
Yeah. What's going
I'd like to know how long term the.
I bet they're gonna go past 10 years.
What's gonna happen if they put a metal roof on there about the drainage, and in that building, right close to that other building, does the water gonna run down between them?
Yeah, I'll go east.
I mean, it's gonna, they're gonna make it drain to the, where it won't go down between those buildings. And there's another building right beside that.
There is.
Thing.
Just want to,
They have a roof.
the transitioning it up, just let's see whether that's gonna be.
Like a false run.
Yeah. Okay.
I think it'd be best to give those scenarios some door openings.
Have a motion?
So we'll need to
I'll make
get
that
spec,
Second. And
so we'll need to get specs for both, is that right? I'll need
Well, they had
specs.
sent us a,
We don't going great, is it rubber on there now? Y'all been up there and looked?
Some kind of foam stuff, isn't it?
It's fun.
I've been up here, but I haven't
There's
seen
some
the
pictures.
let me get them.
Somebody had some pictures, I thought I saw.
I don't know if it's like this one or not.
We been pretty good rubber, good, they all that.
Figure it this way.
But you got to get the water to the drain.
That's what they're on, they're all four corner. Got a low spot right in front of the drain.
Well, if they just keep going and adding to it,
And keeping the drain clean.
yeah, and adding to
They
it,
don't fill it up.
get more weight.
Well, the way to go, weight it up front, shoot it all over it going.
The news gonna be $179. I think that's what they're looking at.
Get it to the,
But,
improve that. Forever.
the repair, I'm not sure.
I assume it's leaking.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Jail, federal building, courthouse.
Right here. These are pictures you passed on. We did get a quote from Parsons.
Oh, we did?
Back in February.
That'd be
I'm
something.
not gonna tell you right now, because if we go out for bids,
I got you.
we need to not discuss that right now. If we're not going out for bids on a flat
Well, if
roof.
we got a quote from a roof, that would give us a, and we're
Yes.
kind of leaning towards fixing it for long term.
Yes,
We got a quote, that would, there's no sense in,
no sense in going out for.
yeah, that'd
flat
be
roof.
wasting everybody's time. I hate to waste those contractors' time, but we've got
I
a
think
relatively recent quote. Does that make sense?
It does. Should have brought that with
Well,
me.
you bet it went up there, you bet it went up.
Oh, I'm sure it'd be a little bit more.
That's a different material than what's on top of the courthouse. That's more like a foam.
I was thinking it looked like a phone to do.
Up here, it's more like a,
You got the ridges.
almost like a material like those heavy tents are made out of.
Yes.
So it's dumping,
Mark ties.
Maybe fire stuff.
so is it like dumping into a gutter? I mean, but then ridges, I'm just trying to figure out the order and stuff.
But if we do the slope room, it'll be a lot more money.
Oh, sure.
You know, so I don't know. That's why.
But over the next 30 years, if we've got to
Yeah.
do that 3 times.
Yeah.
But that's why I'm
They
saying,
do
we don't
spray
need
it on,
to even. go
that
out.
metal roof on, they spray it on.
Right.
It's a metal roof, what would they spray the phone?
They're probably
I
not
think
doing
it
it.
was leaking, they just sprayed stuff up there.
So the motion is to go out for bid for putting a slope roof.
Yes.
Slope.
Let's see what's
Yeah.
that cost.
Yep.
He said,
Yes,
since we got a quote.
yes. Was that a motion?
Another motion.
We have a motion and a second.
Second.
Second, to go out for bids to replace the roof on the DA's office with a sloped roof. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. All right. There he is.
Tell us something good.
Item number 3, a briefing on the disaster declaration and relief.
Morning, how are y'all?
Oh, man.
So this here is just, that top page we'll do the discussion on. The other one is just the PowerPoint that we went over during the meeting. Y'all want to go over it at any point. Has a little bit more details. But so, first thing is, so the incident period, I have it bold there. It started April 26th, ended on June 5th. That's the declaration period. So anything that we've had related to severe weather starting on April 26th and on June 5th is classified into that, and we can use it for to assist with getting any additional funding refunded back to us. The RPA, which is the request for public assistance deadline, is July 6th. We just have to get on the FEMA website, their FEMA Go website, say that we want to request public assistance, and it's just a sign on the dotted line, basically.
That's next week.
Yes, sir. So we can, if we can do that today after Commissioner Court, just go ahead and get it done. They said it takes 10 minutes. We just have to have our SAM number, stuff like that, to get all that stuff going.
Right, so we're not needing any kind of expenditure
No.
stuff right now, so
No.
that'll be easy, we can get that done.
So just on the other part, just under that one, the federal cost share. So that FEMA will cover 75%. We have to cover 25%. However, that 25% isn't us monetarily putting anything out per se. So we can use donated resources such as volunteer hours, equipment, food materials, things that were donated possibly to us to help get things cleaned up. We could deduct that 25% off of those items to help with that. And then some other stuff. When we're doing all the paperwork to kind of get an estimate on what we spend, we have to take out or include deductions, for insurance discounts, and if we use like culverts or anything, took them salvage to help cover costs, we have to include that type of stuff if anything like that was done. If we claimed anything on insurance, whatever the insurance is already paid will not be covered. So, it could. No, I don't think so. So into the stuff that the grant will cover, category A is debris removal. So all the trees, different things like that y'all have been out cleaning up, getting the roads clear. All of those is eligible for coverage. But some of the considerations for it, we have to, wherever y'all put those piles of trees, we have to contact TCEQ, and in that PowerPoint, there's a QR code that we have to scan. We'll go to it. All that is, we have to contact TCEQ to get authorization to keep that stuff staged there and burn it, if that's what we're going to do. That's just that environmental impact. They have to make sure and say, hey, we're going to burn right here. They approve that there's not going to be any negative runoff or anything like that from what we're doing with that stuff.
Already burned once mine.
Yes, sir.
We got a lot of big here, and probably be this fall before we pick it up.
Same here.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I still got some.
Yeah, so the other part of that, we don't stamp everything as permanent right now until we know that we have everything done. Because if we stamp it all permanent and we didn't do something correctly, we're not going to get covered on that part of that project's going to get thrown out with that cost of everything. So we want to make sure that we have checked all the check boxes, everything's in place before we say it's permanent.
So somebody will come and look at your burn pile?
So that I'm not 100% sure about. Need to figure out on the QR code, go in, scan it, see what exactly they're requesting. I'm not sure if they'll just sign and go, or if they're going to send somebody to inspect
We
it.
buy and burn in the same place all the time, and
Yes, sir.
nobody's ever come to.
Well, this being we're asking for this money to help reimburse the costs that we've had during that time frame. They're going to want to make sure that stuff is in order. So.
Okay.
Category B, this is emergency protective measures.
one thing. When those people came and looked at all of your places, and they took pictures, maybe we have some pictures of stuff that.
It's all, yeah, it's on the QR code.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got pictures.
Yeah.
They got
They
pictures,
got
we got
pictures.
pictures.
May not be in the burn pile, but.
GPS coordinates and everything.
Yeah, I may not have pictures. I just showed them 4 places.
I did
And
too.
I've got
They
other
showed
places, and I don't know that I got pictures before. I mean, we've already in the process, we haven't finished them,
Right.
but we've got them safe and passable.
We just got, that's right, just get them passable, what you do, you still got to come back this summer, when it gets dry, you can't fix them. Yeah, well, you just try to get them down the road.
And that's the thing that they were telling us in that meeting is, you know, you may be getting things to where it's passable right now, and it's not permanent work, which is fine. It's just getting it to where people can get in and out of wherever they're at. And then we have to, before we make it permanent, make sure all the other boxes are checked.
Yeah.
Those guys where those guys that come from, what was, where?
They were TDM disaster assessment teams.
So they got some figures, they broke down some figures.
They all asked us to.
Yes, so all those figures went into the cumulative cost on what we were claiming.
That helped get us
That helped
the
get-
status.
Yes, that helped get us that status. So FEMA's went in and they declared that yes, we are eligible, so we can apply for the public assistance. And they went in and looked at those numbers as well and said, okay, we're gonna reduce this one, this isn't, we don't, you know, they went and did their number cutting and stuff like that too.
So if
based
I've
off-
got other stuff besides what I showed them, if they
We can still add that into it.
Yeah, because I wouldn't know, it would take 2 days for me to show
Right.
everything.
Well, a lot of it you didn't know is still.
Well, yeah, well, it's still cropping up. I mean, that was 2 weeks ago, we were still getting
Yeah.
fresh calls.
Well, it's kinda like
You know,
that.
this Washington, you know.
It's not like that roof over on that building, it's probably leaking on the floor. Well, it's pipe. But it's gotta be.
We'll talk
before
about
the
that,
bid.
yeah.
So category B.
Signs for that, now it's, I see.
Category B, the emergency protective measures. So this is anything we did prior to, during, and after the disaster to save lives, protect public health and safety, and prevent damage to public and private property. So basically like Texas Task Force, you know, they were here in Fairfield, and then they were in Wortham a few times during this incident period. We didn't pay for them to be here, the state did, but that would be something that would be covered under like the emergency protective measures. So if we put the water rescue team that we have in the county, if we activated, staged them somewhere, and we're using that to try and get people in and out of areas with flooding, that may be something that could possibly be covered under that. Then category C through G is permanent work. So category C is roads and bridges. Category D, water control facilities. E is buildings and equipment. Category F is utilities. Category G, parks, rec facilities, and other facilities. So all of this is just for repairs to restore those things back to the previous structure that they were prior to the damage. Now, that doesn't mean that we can't improve it to a better standard than what it was previously to try and mitigate this from happening again. But we would have to, where's that? Do the 406 mitigation. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But that 406 mitigation, we'd have to just claim that we're doing that to repair a road better to a better status than what it was originally.
Probably have some of that.
You,
We probably have some of that that needs to be done.
probably, and that's
That would
just.
fit within those.
Right, and they'll work with us if we want to do any of that, because we have to say we're doing that ahead of time. So, because the way they explained it to us, don't do it and then ask for forgiveness, ask for permission and get it done. They said they had in the past, they've had someone just do it and none of it got covered. They lost a bunch of money out of it. So, I want to make sure if we're going to do anything that way.
So if feds are involved, like I got a bridge, it's still out. Like, till the bridge guy gets here. Are they gonna have to have certain, I mean, what, I mean, he builds them to state specs every day. Is it gonna have to be engineered? I mean, you know what I mean, is it gonna get,
Right.
is it gonna get complicated, is what I'm getting at?
So there's tests that have to be done, in that, I didn't put it on here, in the PowerPoint, it talks about it. There are EPA studies and different things that, on the bridge stuff that has to be done, since we're gonna deal with them.
Do one of them studies, find some frogs, you have to move the bridge. What's them frogs down there, they ain't got to come look for them.
Endangered species.
Yeah, that's right.
Documentation stuff, so this is supporting documents that are, is required to back up your request for reimbursement. So like the emergency protective measures, that's to track and include but are not limited to the forced account labor, equipment, materials, rentals, and contracts. So anything that we've done to repair or do anything, we have to keep track of how we've done it. We don't want to do any like piggyback contracts with anybody. So like, for instance, the city of Fairfield, say they bought a bunch of culverts, we just piggybacked off where they were getting their culverts from. But their procurement is different from ours, or it doesn't follow the 2 CFR 200.323 or the other one, then we may not get covered any funding on that. So anything we've done to get any materials, we have to follow the procurement that we have done and not done any piggyback contracts or anything of that nature. Some other stuff, so the procurement policies that we have in place, they're gonna want copies and stuff of that, showing of those procurement policies that were approved prior to the incident period. That's what they'll go off of. If anything we've done or changed during the incident period, they won't follow that. It's gotta be what was done prior to it.
Now tell me what that means, Leonard.
What's that?
In layman's terms, tell me what that means.
So any policies that we have in place,
We do have a procurement policy.
right, so that's just the way we,
Under 50 and over 50, isn't it?
No, it's a written policy.
Oh, we do have one.
yeah, so.
And we
so
haven't
those-
made any changes, so
Right,
that's not.
so anything like that, if any policies we have, procurement, contract procurement policies, things like that, all that stuff we have to have in place, or we have to use what was in place prior to the incident period. That's what they will go off of. And the procurement side right there says page 76, that's, there's a book that that I'll get with Karen with, they call it the Papa G. I have it, it's out in the Tahoe. On page 76, it's all procurement stuff, how they want us to follow that procurement guideline. And so on here it shows we'll follow 2 CFR 200.323 and .327. So what they told us in the meeting, our procurement policies may be more, could be more strict or stringent than what these are, but this is what they're going to follow. So as long as we have a procurement policy that at least meets this or is better than that, we're fine, because this is what they're going to follow on all of that. And then on the procurement, it's broke down into three categories. So there's micro purchase, which is less than $10,000. Small purchases, which are $10,000 to $49,999.91. And then procurement simplified acquisition threshold, which is $50,000 or more. Those are things that we'll have to, once we go breaking down costs on culverts and different things, we'll have to make sure that those procurements, if it falls in between one of those purchases, that it follows that procurement policy as well. So some of the, like I was talking about piggyback contracts, there's a cost plus contract. That is something, if we've done anything like that, it's not going to be covered at all. That's 100% of the money will be spent out of our pockets on that. What it is you got somebody you bought culverts from this person, but they're getting them from somebody that put added money onto it to get it for us, to ensure that we have them, and just added their cost to it. So, say the culverts are 40,000, but they're gonna charge us 45. That's all that means. That 45,000 we paid is not gonna be covered, because it wasn't cured correctly. EHP requirements. These are requirements that the federal EHP laws are set and that we have to follow. All that is environmental and historic. So if anything historically has been damaged, we'd have to follow the rules to get those type of things repaired. So any historical declaration sites.
Courthouse Road.
Like a bridge.
Courthouse Road.
It's historical, but,
We've got a flag.
yeah, it does.
Yeah,
I
so
don't think
so
anything
this
is gonna.
Everybody in here knows.
Oh,
so the 406 mitigation is for permanent work only. So if we're
We
doing
did used to have some historical bridges, though, seriously. Do we?
Don't have any.
I thought they took that last one out. All right, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, that's fine. So like I was saying, the 406 mitigation is for permanent work only. So this is, we could use it for historical roads, culverts, bridges, and buildings that have a history of being damaged by severe weather such as flooding. And we could integrate that 406 into the PAG, the Public Assistance Grant, if we wanted to pursue it. So if one of you have a county road that every time it rains, it floods and washes something out, and you have to go in and repair it, that's something that we probably should look at doing a 406 mitigation on to prevent that from happening and keep that cost reoccurring every time it rains, because it can and will continue to be expensive as it goes through. So that's something that 406 mitigation can be used for. And then category Z, that's, you know, I mentioned A through G being categories we can claim. Category Z is also one that we can claim as well. This would add up to 5% to the total amount with the other categories. That's just documenting the time and the hours spent that we've had meetings in relation to discussion on the grant, repairs on the road, stuff like that. That's what that would be covered under. So. And then just as a reminder, the equipment rates that are going to be used, we may have gotten equipment for a higher cost. Whatever the FEMA schedule of equipment rates is, that's what they're going to use to document and say, this is exactly how much you've had for this Traco or this backhoe or anything being used. They're going to use those FEMA schedule rates for that equipment.
And we can look those up?
Yes. Any other questions? It's a lot of information. I thought it was a good little meeting that we had.
Good overview.
So like I said, the PowerPoint handout that I gave y'all, it goes into a little bit more detail, but that Papa G is you can find it online as well. But it's version 4 that we'll have to use to do this for, and it's outlines everything in it that we've got to do.
Timeline on it.
So the RPA, we have until July 6th to request the public assistance.
Right.
After that, we have I didn't type it into here. I'd have to look at the PowerPoint again. But to finish permanent work, everything, I believe it's, if I remember correctly, somewhere around 18 months or something.
Okay.
So we have plenty of time to make sure that everything is in order. It's not like we have to have it done at the end of this summer. So we have time to make sure we've got it all done, and if we have to adjust some things to make sure we get it done timely, we can.
All right, as so before you leave this morning, we're gonna get signed up.
We're gonna do the RPA.
Okay.
I'll get with Karen, she should have the same number, that's the only thing that we need. Get in the FEMA, create the account, and request that we're gonna
Okay.
pursue funding.
So this will be done, each precinct will do their own, and then we put it all together, and we all the cash roll, we're all through,
Yes,
and turn it in.
yes. Each precinct does their own, the damages and the cost, everything, and then all 4 precincts will be put together, and that'll be the cumulative cost for the county. They won't break it down by precinct, but
Yeah.
that, for us, that,
Collect it by
Collect,
precinct.
okay.
All right, and, we probably need to do, a spreadsheet for everybody, so.
I've been keeping a file of each of mine on the receipts,
Good.
on all my contractors, everything for
I
each
have-
road.
I have a spreadsheet that was emailed to me that I will get to y'all, and that's a spreadsheet that, they call it the green page or Greenworks or something. Anyways, that's where you would keep all of that stuff in and keep track of all of that stuff.
Good.
That's the form that they would want used.
You have that?
I have it in email, yes, sir.
Okay.
I'm sorry, if we do all this, is the money guaranteed? We've been through this before.
Yes, sir. I can't say 100% that it's guaranteed, it's all gonna be up to what FEMA, they're saying they're gonna cover at least 75%.
Is it reckon that number will change? We don't know.
I don't know exactly what we could get back. That's the thing is.
Well, the cap is really what we're worried about.
Right.
If you have to have over $100,000 worth of expenses, well then, or whatever it might be, so I think it was 70 something last time we did it.
Yeah, it really wasn't worth your time and effort to
No.
do it for the money. Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't
But
get
we won't know
anything.
until we put it together.
Right.
We didn't get anything, we took pictures
Yeah.
and had to do all that stuff, and got nothing.
We got something, it just wasn't much.
Ma'am?
We got something, it just wasn't much.
We did get a little bit,
Yeah.
but it was like a year and a half, 2 years, I mean, it took forever. to
Where'd
get
it go?
Yeah.
Back in general fund?
It went into the line item.
86 by 86.
It just,
For the cloud, it could be still.
like the bridge, it concerns me with all the hoops that may, and that's my major expenditure, that's gonna be my big.
Right.
So maybe that's about the bullet.
I've
Look at
had
that.
4 or 5 bridges built by the state, and they had to do that. I mean, it wasn't no cost to us, but they had to have an engineer, environmental study, and all these kind of things. Now, I don't know if somehow you can get
I'm fixing
that.
to build a bridge.
I know, I'm just saying, I don't know
One way or
if you
the other.
Soon
I don't know if you
as
can
I gotta get to it.
you know, I had to submit like we have to do to Curtis or whoever, when we go out for bid, we have to submit that, we need to get something back to show how they're gonna build it,
Yeah.
And so, I don't know if you could, I don't know if they'd go for that or not, I mean,
I got people driving several miles out of the way every day, and they're very understanding, but I'm getting bridge built one way or another.
are you gonna build another bridge, or you gonna just repair the one you
No,
got?
I lost the other one. I gotta start over.
And I know we have to start checking that, see if they can see.
How do we do this other?
I'm more into it.
How do we do this other?
I got money, I was hoping to get some help.
Karen and I'll do it on the computer. We'll just get in there and sign up and use that SAM number. Get in there and just say, basically just saying, yes, we're agreeing that we're gonna follow all the rules and pursue the funding.
All right. Anything else for today?
Thank you for.
Appreciate it.
I appreciate it. Thank
We
you.
were afraid we were going to do a lot of stuff before the deadline to sign up.
No,
That worked good.
Commissioner Bonner, he wanted to ask that question there too, and no, it's just requesting that we're gonna pursue it is July 6th.
I tried to get them 95.5 instead of 75.25. She wouldn't go for that. But she did say when the hurricane hit Houston, they went 100% on it,
They did, she did,
Yeah.
but
Harvey. I told her, I said, we can name this, that's all it takes is a name. She didn't go for that either.
Any comments from commissioners, court members?
Make a motion to adjourn.